I'm gonna.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Faust Goes to the Movies with me. I'm Jim Faust and Tom Carmody, and we're going to start.
We're going to talk about Marilyn
We're going to
Monroe.
talk about Marilyn Monroe. We're going to talk about Marilyn Monroe, and I know that everything's been said and done, but I think we've got some pretty good information that maybe not everybody knows.
And you just couldn't get you to shut up about it, so we're going to film it.
I know, and I didn't do any. I figured if I can't talk about Marilyn Monroe for 10 minutes, I may as well cash in my chips. So.
And I had to agree.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so Norma Jean.
Norma Jean, born Norma Jean Mortensen, misspelled on her birth certificate, then changed to Baker by her mother. And there was also another gentleman, Stanley Gifford, who was in there, that she was told that was her father. She never really knew who her father was.
And didn't her mother just show her a photograph of him?
Of Stanley Gifford, and said, "This is your father." She tried to contact him years later to no avail.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm told that he looked a lot like Clark Gable.
Clark Gable.
And
Yeah.
that she then obviously fantasized that Clark Gable was her dad.
Yeah. Now, there's one thing I want to clear up right now. Her name, Norma Jean. It was spelled, I believe, Jeanne.
Yes.
Yes, it was. Okay. A lot of people misrepresent her by saying that she was named after Norma Shearer and Jean Harlow. Well, that's impossible because Jean Harlow wasn't even on the scene when Marilyn Monroe was born in 1926. She was still a teenager. So my thing was it was Norma Shearer and Jean Eagles.
Oh,
That's probably
okay.
who she was named after. Yeah, and her mother was nuts. Her mother was mentally ill
In and out of psych wards for her entire life.
for her entire life. Her career was as a film cutter at Fox, which I think sort of piqued young Norma Jean's interest in motion pictures. She talks about that she and her mother spent a lot of time going to movies when she was a little girl. And of course she was shuffled from one orphanage to another.
Foster home to
Foster homes, orphanages. She had one family, the Bollanders, that she kept sort of going back to. But as we spoke about earlier, the one thing is that plays out through all of this, and it's perfectly understandable, is sexual and physical abuse.
Yes.
That she probably had to endure because, as we spoke of earlier, at that time, children were property.
Yeah.
Sexual abuse was not handled the way it is now at all. And so there's probably a great deal of credence to, as we talked about, her psychological problems as she got older. Insomnia, lack of focus, insecurity, those kinds of things would be a natural progression from that kind of an upbringing, from that kind of a childhood.
I heard one of the stories of the Bollanders is that Gladys, her mother, had arrived unexpectedly and then wanted to take her away, forced her way into the house, stuffed Norma Jean into a duffel bag, and threw her over to the shoulder and tried to fight her way out.
Yeah, I can believe that. And it's also interesting to know, too, that Marilyn took care of her mother until the day she died, and made sure that she was taken care of for the rest of her life, which she was. So she always wanted a contact with her, but the woman was so nuts that she never knew what was going on. She never knew who her daughter turned into. Had no idea.
I always loved the story of Marilyn's first marriage.
Jim Doherty.
Yes.
Jim Doherty, he was basically, I think it was the Bollanders.
No, I think that, well, it could have been, but my memory of it is that they were, through the Bollanders, went to stay with the Dohertys.
Right. But they wanted to get her married off.
Well, they did because they didn't want to take her along, and they convinced then Jim to marry. At that time, wasn't she 16?
Yeah, she was 16. And she was married to him, I believe she married him in 1942.
Yep.
And he went off to the Merchant Marines. And by the time he came back in 46, she was well on her way to being a pinup girl and starting her modeling career and all of that, and was having no part of being a housewife in Van Nuys.
I heard that he found out that she was a model by one of his shipmates showing him a picture of, or a pinup, or a magazine
photo
of Norma Jean.
Yeah. Oh, she was in all of them too. Laugh, Peep, all of those art magazines in those days, which were about as cheeky as you could get before Playboy and all of that. So, But she was not Marilyn Monroe then by any means. She had curly, frizzy red hair. She's pretty full-figured. She was cute, but not what she turned into later on. But that, and then Doherty. It's interesting. Every once in a while, they would trot him out. I've seen footage of him when he later in life would actually talk about her and how he watched her career through the years. And I believe Jim Doherty died in the early 2000s, 2001,
he was quite
2002, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was an LAPD peace officer when he came back, and that was his whole career.
Well, so much for then the early years.
The early years.
We're going to stop here and look for then part 2. So hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for part 2 of
Part 2. Thanks a lot, you guys.